Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to take an in-depth look at everything we know about Farm Sim 22. I am not one to release videos every day with little tidbits of information. I like to go through everything that we know and give you information that is from Giants, not speculation. And also, I don't like making rah-rah videos, so I only do one or two of these videos before the next version comes out. I've been doing this for a couple years, and I really like to kind of give you all the information I can. So I apologize. I haven't been like releasing. I've had viewers like, "Hey man, are you excited about Farm Sim 22? Did you know about Farm Sim 22?" Yes, of course I do. But I'm waiting till we get more information. So now we have a ton of information to go off of. There's been a bunch of developer videos. I'm going to go through that with you. We're going to look at the website. We're going to look at some of the videos they've released showing some of the new features and kind of share that with you. We'll be looking at some of the pictures and new maps, all that kind of stuff. But in a nutshell, we know that we have several new crops, all kinds of new equipment, new machines, up to I think there's 400 machines or over 400 machines, a bunch of new brands. They've included seasons now. We have production chains, so you'll be able to actually like grow crops and then turn those crops into factories, make product in those factories, and then turn around and sell that product. So that's really cool. Once again, I have 3 new maps. Well, 2 new maps and 1 repeat, including an amazing American map called Elm Creek. I'm going to share that with you in this video. Supposedly more realistic AI. We'll see how that goes. They say that every time they release one. Sound enhancements. That means like better sounding motors. Like as you get closer or farther away, they will, realistically come in and go out. Gear selection. From this point forward, you'll optionally be able to run gears. The seasons thing, I believe, is optional also. And then, of course, graphics upgrades and the support of DirectX 12. We've been watching a trailer here. This is not the game. I know they're making this. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, the graphics of the new game are awesome. This happens every time. This is just a trailer. It's not what the game's going to look like. But we'll go through that in a second. We'll rewatch this and kind of talk about what we're looking at. But this is fantasy. This is not what the game's going to look. It's going to look very similar to 19, slightly better, but not like this. So anyway, be sure to check out my channel. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We're going to be covering this game early. So I get early access to this. We're going to have it, I don't know. Usually they give it to me about a week and a half in advance. So we'll start publishing videos as soon as we're allowed to. And also, I want you guys to know that we're also going to be doing Twitch coverage the night before or the couple weeks before. So as soon as I get access and I'm allowed to Twitch stream this, I'll be streaming this on my channel. The link to my channel is in the description. We are going to be bringing the Twitch channel back again for those of you that have been wondering. We're going to start. I'm going to try to actually start next Monday. So first week of September, I'll be starting to stream again because we're going into the fall. It'll slowly pick up. I'm going to start small and then work my way back into it. But by the time we get to Farm Sim 22 on November 22nd, we're going to be ready. So let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer. This is the first information that came out. They're just kind of teasing seasons for us, showing us some of the new equipment. Obviously, this Massey Ferguson is not a new tractor, or is a new tractor. The Fendt is not. And we get they're showing that she did not do a good job taking care of her crops. And she's like, oh, shoot, they died. Well, yeah, if you don't take care of your crops, that's what happens. So obviously she's making friends with this farmer who knows what he's doing and tying her boots. And he's getting up at 6, and now she's getting up at 6 too because she was getting up late like I do. Actually, I've been getting up early because we have puppies. But and putting wheat into the bag, and there we have a farm tractor out there working in the field. Some of the things that they've added, I know just from the trailers, and once again, we'll go through this in depth through this video, but they've added a bunch of new textures. Equipment works differently now, so if you have a cultivator, one type of cultivator will give you a different type of cultivation than another, so they actually are taking into account that, yes, you can cultivate faster with the wheeled cultivators, but if they're not digging into the ground, your weeds are going to grow back faster, stuff like that. Like, they're really paying attention. Here we have grapes. That's awesome. There was grape harvesters there in that video. There's other videos I've seen of a grape sprayer, so we're going to be able to make wine most likely and sell that as a product. And then obviously we have the snow. Oh, it's her dad. Hurry up, Dad. I'm almost done. There she is. In her Massey Ferguson tractor. Hi, Dad. I rock. Bye. So anyway, and they're cultivating in the snow. I don't know if that... I don't usually see farmers cultivating in the dead of winter because the ground's frozen and they can't really break it up. So they usually start that as soon as things start to thaw. But anyway, still cool stuff. Let's go ahead and get into some of the other information. All right, so first of all, let's talk about one of the new things. We're going to talk about seasons. Yeah, so it is optional. You don't have to do this. I've had several of my friends tell me they would stop playing Farm Simulator if they made it so that you had to do seasons. They will not do that. So it is optional. You don't have to play with seasons on. But if you do want to, they've done many, many things to introduce seasons into the game full time. First of all, they've made the entire world and the lighting that goes with that. They've created an environment app. So if, let's say, I live in Ohio, as the sun, as we get into fall, the sun does not give us as much light. So like right now, the sun sets at about 8:30, 7:30, 8:30 in September. Whereas a month ago, it was setting at 9:30. So we have less light during the day, and the light is not as bright because the sun is going into the southern hemisphere. During the winter, Ohio is actually very dark. Even when the sun is up, only around like 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock is it bright. It starts to look like evening around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't start looking like a bright morning until about 10 a.m. So they have programmed this into Farm Sim 22. You're actually going to have realistic lighting depending on the season that you're in. Also, we're going to be dealing with snow and snow plowing. They basically stole everything from the Seasons mod is what they did. Except for it's not as complex. From what I'm understanding, you don't have to worry about things like crops rotting on the field, though maybe you do. Like maybe it'll just go away if you ignore it. And we'll find out more about that. They didn't say much in the video. But they did say that you can, as a map maker, make things that appear during the summer but aren't there in the winter. Like, let's say a grill. People put their grills away in the summer. They put their lawn furniture away and store it during the winter. Not during the summer, during the winter. Your grill goes away, that kind of stuff. So they're saying that map makers can actually take advantage of that. We also have a calendar, just like you guys have seen in seasons before, where the green tells you when you can plant and when you can harvest. So obviously with wheat and barley, you're supposed to plant them in September and October, and then you harvest them July and August for wheat, and June, like May, June, or June, July for barley. I believe they said the seasons are 6 days long, each season, and they are obviously taking into consideration. Wait, where's the X for this? Okay, there we go. I need to close this. Hang on one sec. Anyway, they have a full system as far as, like, obviously the season's changing, so each one will look different. You're going to get snow on rooftops and stuff like that. And they said the other thing you need to watch is that your crops will not sell for as much. Like if you just harvest your wheat, try to sell it right away, it's going to be worth more the following summer. So finally, we have a reason in Farm Sim to keep our crops in a silo. For the years and years that I've been playing, I only ever harvest my crops, dump them in a truck, take them to the, to sell them. You're not going to want to do that anymore. You're going to want to store them in a silo until the price goes up all the way, and then you're going to sell them. So that's pretty neat that they've put that in there. I apologize. It's 3-day season. So a year consists of 12 days. Each day in game is the equivalent of a month. So when you can speed up or slow down how fast the time passes. I like it. I'm going to give it a go and see how it goes. I've never been a huge fan of seasons, but I do like it. But I also may play a game where it's not seasons related. But honestly, that's how farming is. You really do have to deal with that. So I kind of like that. And also, obviously, when you're doing winter, you're going to have to store food for your animal, keep your farm paths clear so that you can feed your animals. It's just neat stuff. So that is seasons. It's coming, and for those of you that wanted it, now you got it. It's in game. Like I said, I've never been a huge fan of it, but I am definitely willing to try it out. So let's move on to the next thing. So with Farm Sim 22, we have 3 new crops. We've got grapes. We've already seen that in the demo trailer. And along with that, we're going to have a new type of harvester for the grapes. We're also probably going to have included with that, and I saw a video of it, a sprayer So we'll have orchard tractors, which will be cool, like the little orchard tractors that have like the sprayers to fertilize and irrigate our crops. We also have olives, same thing. You're going to have an olive harvester. I believe the olive harvester and the grape harvester are very similar. In fact, they might even be the same machine. And then you'll also, once again, have the little tractors to do it. So that's pretty sweet that we're going to have olives and grapes. And then we also have sorghum. It's basically a type of grain, like a wheat or barley type thing. Apparently it grows well in dry climates, which a lot of the world has dry climates, so it's starting to become more and more popular. And it's used in many different types of food, but it's all part of that same wheat family. And then they give us a little look into production chains here, saying that you can take your grapes and make grape juice or dried grapes. You can also make high-grade olive oil using your olives, or you can just sell them directly. You can take your sorghum and turn it into flour, and then probably take that flour to another mill and turn it into either bread or cake or some other kind of item, and we'll take a look at the production chain. So those are our 3 new crops. So once again, we have sorghum, olives, and grapes. Now we're going to take a look at a little side thing, probably not exciting for everybody, but still kind of a neat topic. So I know I've got friends that won't play Farm Sim anymore because they haven't gone to 3D textures. They want actual 3D terrain, and I understand that. So games like Farmer's Dynasty, this new one that I've been playing, Farmer's Life, they all have 3D terrain, but the one thing that's different on all those games is that the fields are a lot smaller. When you start dealing with actual 3D terrain like what you have in SnowRunner, you run into an issue of it requiring too much power from the computer to generate and render. So it either has to be done close, and then you have to have a memory map that remembers what parts you've run over and what parts you haven't, which is fine in a game like SnowRunner, where you're just kind of running over the same places, and eventually it resets itself later. Or once again, Farmer's Dynasty, where the fields are smaller and they don't have to remember quite as much. That's one of the limitations on why the fields don't get much bigger in Farmer's Dynasty. And of course, the ridiculously silly graphics that are in that. So what they've done to kind of get around that and give us a more 3D looking terrain is what they're calling Parallax Occlusion Mapping. You can see here the difference. To the right, we have it on. To the left, we have what we had in 19. That's off, that's on. Basically, they're textures that look like they're 3D. And so here we go. Here's another set of examples. You can see the rocks going from flat to very 3D looking. And so they're, man, I don't know how to explain it, but as you move around these, they should have some 3D texture to them. So they don't have any moving examples here. They're just showing us the differences between the two. That's off, that's on, off, on. Once again, off, on. And I can tell without looking at the sign that says on which one's on. I mean, I could walk barefoot on the off, and I could definitely not walk barefoot on that one. And then here we go, cultivation. So if you have a powerful enough video card, you can use this Parallax, but it shouldn't take too much power, because once again, it's something that shouldn't require your computer. Instead of having 3D, it's the closest thing to it. So we'll see how it looks. I know, once again, like I said, I've had friends that gave up because they're like, I want 3D terrain and I'm not going to play until they do it. Well, this is the next step towards that, and we may not ever see 3D terrain, but this looks pretty good. I can't wait to see what it looks like in the game. It's kind of a big upgrade there. Looks like precision farming will be available again for Farm Sim 22. Oddly, it's not available at release. It says it will be available in spring of 2000. Let me see. Maybe I read that wrong, but hold on a second. Yeah, I was right. They're saying spring of 2022 is when it's coming out. So it will not be released with the game. We'll get it later. So that's kind of weird because they already have it in 19, but I guess they have to kind of rework it. So we'll see. But that's just so you know, precision farming will be back. It just will be back a little bit after release. Next up, and very exciting to me, is this dude. He's the designer, or he's the American. I guess he doesn't look American to me, and he actually sounds German, so I'm assuming he's either ex-Amish or he actually is German but living in the United States. He's designing and helping the team design the first American map that actually looks like a Midwest American map. This is Elm Creek, and I'm going to try to just play the footage parts where we actually see what it looks like. But it is a very Midwest feeling, kind of Arkansas-looking map. For those of you that have been to the eastern side of Kansas or into Oklahoma, here we're seeing footage of the actual map, and now we're seeing the guy again. Hold on. I wish they would have to... we get some more overview video here of the map and what it looks like. That's what it looks like in fall. Yeah, this definitely looks like Arkansas, Oklahoma, like the Ozarks, like that area. Very beautiful area, flatlands, but then also you got some hills going on. Wichita, Kansas, maybe a little bit. Lawrence, Kansas. It just has that Midwest feel. Maybe parts of, definitely Kentucky, Southern Ohio. But definitely more, to me, it feels more like heading out west a little bit, like into the middle of America type. Here's a Weeping Willow, yeah. Definitely Arkansas, maybe northern Louisiana. So this is really exciting because they've taken time to make it feel American. It's the first time I feel like they've done that. Really, the maps have been very kind of generic American or weird places. Like, in 19, it was Colorado. Like, not just... like the part of Colorado that they actually farm, but like in the mountains, Colorado. And then in Farm Sim 19, we were in California. And like, yeah, we do a lot of farming, but it's like orange groves and stuff like that. It's not crop farming. Crop farming in the United States is in the Midwest. So we just haven't had a good Midwest map since maybe Westbridge Hills, and that was very European feeling. So I'm super excited. I think that to me, this is probably the most exciting, aside from the production chains. This is probably one of the most exciting things that I've seen in Farm Sim 19. A very American-looking map. And we'll take a look. We'll kind of bop through the video here and take a look. We got, looks like potatoes growing. Crops look really good. Once again, you're seeing a stream of a stream, so the video quality is not going to be amazing. But this looks great. So we definitely will be going farms on here. I've heard that the multiplayer stuff's going to be pretty cool. They haven't talked a ton about it, but you can have competing farms again. They will be doing stuff on their maps where you can buy different farms. You don't have to buy the main farm. So if you want to start off in new farmer mode, you have more choices than just the original farm. There will be other farms available with other buildings, and I wish they would have taken, nobody took advantage of that in 19. You could do it in 19, but they just didn't take advantage of it. So that was a little frustrating, but here, this is gorgeous. Now they keep showing it looks like the same. They've worked hard on this section of the map. So they keep showing the same section over and over again. But this is very exciting footage, and I'm looking forward to playing on this map and setting up farming here. So we'll definitely be doing a series here. And with this, obviously, we'll move into the map section. That was cool to see the freeway overpass. Mama Joe's Diner, 42 gas station. And we have our German / Amish friend here. Look at that. Yeah, that looks like many, many places that I've been in the United States. Dual lane roads. We got a lot of those. Look at the mailboxes and stuff like that. And once again, these are elements that we've seen before, but I guess I'm excited because there's a lot of new stuff. Like, oh, yeah, look at that. Like that, having the barn with so many barns in the United States are built on a hill like that, and then you have 2 levels. Yeah. And that just shows that's totally awesome. So you can store stuff downstairs. People put stuff upstairs. Then on the 3rd floor, they put hay. Like they use that as a loft. That's where you get the hay loft term from. So they're really kind of paying attention to what's going on in America now. And I'm glad because American farming, this game has gotten more and more popular here in the United States. When I first started covering Farm Sim, it was like just European. They really didn't have a grasp on American farming. We didn't have any American equipment, very few American brands in the game. And when they were American brands, it's because they were also sold in Europe. But they've really kind of helped us, and I'm glad they've kind of paid attention to us and listen to the viewers and or not the viewers, but the players' requests. You know, people have been requesting, hey, can we get better maps? And I think in this case they've listened, and they've really made something that looks like the Midwest. Look at that. That's just great. So I'm looking forward to this. We do have another reveal, so we'll look at this map here. Once we're done looking at the footage for this, we'll move on. They announced today the new French map, so we've got that coming too. Look at that. There's our grain silo set up. Obviously, this is going to be the starter farm. Lots of name brand stuff. I know that they were talking about like the new cow shelter is a name brand shelter. Look at that's really cool. There's an American barn. The nice thing about seeing this too is that we'll start to see these elements used in other maps. People will take these new things and put them into their American maps too. So we'll have a lot more items to work with. My goodness, that looks like my ex-father-in-law. He didn't have a beard, but his eyes and stuff, scary. This looks like the oh, look, see, there's like another farm. This one's different. Different silo system. And maybe even another one. Look at that. And we'll see what's available, what's open, and what isn't. Maybe a lot of these are, obviously, they're showing us decorations too. There's a mill. They'll probably take your products there to sell. Next clip. Sorry. This is the only way I can really bring these to you because they're obviously from these from FarmCon. Obviously, there's a grain mill. I'm so excited. Oh, look at the covered bridge. All right, we have those. We have a lot of those in Ohio. Just super excited about this part of it. Like, this is going to be great, and we're going to have some fun. I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, you guys are excited. This is the part that excites me. All right, let's take a look at the next map. All right, so next up, Haute-Béron, or Belleron. I don't know. Of course, they have to pick ridiculous names. This is a imitation of another actual French countryside in the Côte d'Azur, which is in the southern part of the country in the Mediterranean. So it almost has an Italian feel to it. You can see the little tall trees. But this is just revealed today. This is the other new map. And then we're going to also have Erlengrot. We'll be back. Hey, man, if it's at that level of detail, these maps are going to be absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at this stuff. Very French Riviera feeling. Huh, that's cool. Oh, there's this. Well, I forget. Is that a C4? What car is that? That's a Citroen for sure, but I can't remember what the model is. It's like one of the ugliest. DS4, is that what that is? I don't know. They're ugly, but world famous for being renownedly ugly. We have a catapult and a tower and a hotel or house. Maybe that's the farm. Who knows? Picture of a Massey with a small baler, by the way. Yes, small bales will be included in Farm Sim 22. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet, but they will be including small bales too, which is great. And because we can start small now. You don't have to buy giant balers and giant equipment. You'll be able to do these things with the smaller stuff. And we have a Massey Ferguson new model. Fancy new Massey. Here we have, olives. Perfect for we could do grapes and olives in France. And here's one of our Fendt. Look at this skinny little tractor. This is a orchard tractor with some kind of, I don't know if that's a harvesting device. I'm not sure what that is. We'll learn all this stuff as we go, won't we? Here it is snowing in France, which I don't think it snows too often in the Mediterranean, but whatever. There's some gameplay scenes. What the heck is that? Is that it's a cultivator with fertilizer maybe? I don't know. That's, once again, new piece of equipment there. Notice that we got a Zetter, so it looks like they have not gotten rid of Zetter. In fact, they're back. Remind me, I don't think they were in Farm Sim 19, so they're back again. That's pretty cool. By default. There were mods that brought them in, but they weren't included in the base game. Here we have, looks like a grain facility, and look, this is cool, like the cement grain, like they're like this huge decoration on the side that looks like grain. That's really neat. And So that's that. That's the information we have so far from the France map, but it's going to be beautiful, looks like. Without getting too crazy, a lot of new graphics engine improvements. We talked about it supporting DirectX 12, which will help your computer to run faster as long as you have a DirectX 12 compatible card. Probably, I think the new Xbox has that also. Occlusion culling. That's where that's what we saw, the parallax occlusion. So it makes it look 3D. And then the culling, basically, if things are hidden, like you're standing in front of a building, everything behind the building gets culled. That's 3D. So it saves your graphics card from having to render what you're looking at and what you're not looking at. It basically boosts performance by reducing what you're not seeing. So texture streaming is the same idea. Let's say I'm standing behind, like in front of a bush, and there's like a tree, and I'm looking at a tower in the distance, and then I walk behind the tree and that tower disappears. The computer now just renders low-res textures of that, so I'm not like wasting power on high-res textures on something that I can't see. So we have some of that, like I guess you would call it optimization going on. They're now supporting TAA and improved shadow supposedly. So neat stuff. Yeah. I'm not going to get too in-depth with that, but I think that same thing with the sound stuff. Like, once again, yes, they're going to be doing new sounds, and we'll see how they. Once you hear them, we'll know. But it's really not anything to talk about there. Once again, sound design. They're working on dynamic sound for exhaust and engines. Vehicle sounds are now transform in real time and the in-game environment, making the machine sound more realistic. They're also going to have dynamic load processing here. Simulates engines having various loads with resistance applied. When you drive a tractor under a huge load or drive uphill, the engine will sound more authentic. In other words, it's going to work harder. Just like a real tractor, it's going to be going from like really working. So you're going to have that kind of stuff going on. Pretty cool. They're working on a new audio attachment system so that your attachments all sound different. They're not all the same sounding, so different attachments will sound different. Really cool stuff. This also came out today, or in the last couple days. I'm sorry, this came out last month. We got a whole bunch of new buildings in build mode. They've changed build mode to be a lot easier, supposedly. We'll see. New terrain manipulation tools, that kind of thing. But you'll be able to really kind of take hold of what's going on and customize your farm. You can see here now they've added, the guy said literally hundreds of new items that you can build. Look here, a fence. So he's putting a fence in. You can actually fence in your yard. All kinds of new buildings. And they will talk about that here in a second, so we'll look at that. Here's an example of putting down one of the many different chicken coops. Or that's a decoration. You got animals, production, buildings, landscaping, all within here. You have everything is put in the following categories. They're split into sheds, silos, silo extensions, containers, and tools. Here you will find buildings like New Sheds by Rudolf Horman, each with the functionality and things like vehicle service points. We hear that? So you can actually buy a garage with a vehicle service point in it. That's awesome. And solar panels. So you can have a building that produces electricity, which means that you'll be generating income on the farm. You can see here the shed below is a solar panel roofed machine shop. And that is really cool. Production, we can buy production buildings, including a BGA, they said in the video. You can start production chains that earn additional money. Factories, selling points, greenhouses, orchards, and generators. I'm hoping some of the maps have that stuff on it already so you don't have to buy it, but that's still cool that you can do it yourself. Kind of like Clarkson's Farm, you can make your own animal shop or food shop. It could be a disaster too. Animal pens, different shapes and sizes, some additional functionality. And now we have decorations like fences, street lights, and more. With this set of items, you can provide your farm with a lot of details. That's really cool. Landscaping, of course, same thing that we've had before. Here's a hall that has solar panels on the roof. So there's a lot of cool new stuff in the build mode. That's going to be really awesome. I'm not seeing a lot of information on here. In a video I watched, and I want to talk about this. Hold on. So once again, I hit on this a little bit at the beginning of the video. They've made it so that different cultivators work at different speeds and have different results. So like, let's say if you use a roller type cultivator, like I'm trying to think of the brands, like that one right there. No, not that one. Like a Disker. It'll go faster, but you're going to have weeds growing quicker. They make different textures on the field. So one cultivator is going to make like earthy looking dirt. Like a Disker is going to make more of a like chopped up straw on the field type look. So they're going to have different operating. We have things like Slurry. The Slurry can be obviously applied to the field using our pre-order Xeron system, or Xeron, however you pronounce it. And then they're going to also have, and we'll watch this trailer again and talk about it, rock removal. There's one thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to remove rocks. That's what that unit was. You're going to have to remove rocks from your fields. And that's real. That's a real thing. So, so there's just so much. I'm trying to think of other things that we needed to really quick hit on here. We'll run that again and take a look, see if it sparks anything. But yeah, you're going to have different speeds. Oh, the Slurry. If you have a lot of Slurry, you can actually go into a double Slurry mode where it actually puts down 2 layers of Slurry at once. And that counts for 2 layers of fertilization. There's France, real quick. This is all taking place in France. So that's pretty neat that we actually have a gameplay trailer there. By the way, this is all actual gameplay footage now. We're no longer looking at CGI stuff. There's our little baler. Looks really good. Looks, I mean, a hair better than Farm Sim 19, though. It's similar. I always tell people the way that they do this game is they do a graphics update for the first, like every 2 years they release one, except for this time it's been 3 years. One release will be a major graphics update with interface updates. The following year will be major underpinning updates, like better menus and that kind of stuff, better gameplay features. And then, again, they'll go back with that. The following 2 years, it'll be a graphics update again. So we are on the UI update is what I would consider this. Every 4 years, we get a new graphics engine. And every 2 years, we get a new interface update. And that's been the pattern since Farm Sim 11. So once again, let's take a look real quick again at that video, and we'll talk about the actual gameplay thing that we're seeing. So once again, we're seeing France, and it really does look like that southern area getting into the Mediterranean. A little crooked look. And another castle on top of a hill, reminiscent of Felsbrunn. But Europe has that quite a bit. I like the boats in the water. There's our tower. Massey Ferguson, got John Deere. Oh, Case has got new equipment. I saw that there's a Case cultivator. So I'm hoping that we have like a lot of different, like if you want John Deere cultivators, you can buy them. Seeders, all the rest. There's a harvester going down the road. Once again, small balers are in the game. I haven't seen any collection for that, but they are now included in the game, which is awesome. Looks like some new forestry stuff. That's a really cool scene. Yeah, I mean it's it's been in Farm Sim already, but it's just that was a neat scene. Obviously, we're still going to have logging. That looks pretty neat. That with gents or whatever that is. That was just this guy. Pause it right there. No, Yep, sweet. Will that work? I don't know. I've never had good luck with these cranes, but let's see how the physics are in the next version. Here we go. So here's one of these mini tractors again. The only orchard tractor I've seen them demo so far is this Fendt orchard tractor. That does not mean that's going to be the only one in the game because, once again, we're still a couple months out, so they're still doing development. But this is really cool to see this. And there is an orchard sprayer right behind it, the Hardy Mercury. This has been in several of the other games that I've played that have these type of crops that have grapes and olive oil and stuff like that, or olives. We've had these sprayers trying to remember which games. Pure Farming had it. It's been in Farm Expert 17. So they've been out there before. It's cool to see them coming to Farm Sim in a licensed manner. Here we go with I think it's flat textures. Grapes being harvested with our New Holland grape harvester. Apparently there's a different harvester for the olives, and that is this thing. This is clipping the vines. But maybe that was after they've been harvested. Maybe you harvest and then clip. I don't know. That's what that looked like. Here's a rock puller. That's what that was, that unit that I didn't know what it was in that picture. That's the rock puller, the Scorpio. And then we have seasons real quick here showing on the map. And somebody plowing. And giant cultivator. And you can see here, this is the new cultivation texture. You've got straw mixed in there. Cool. Straw harvest. New Massey Ferguson, cedars. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Now, if you pre-order, you also get, and I'll show you this in a sec, hang on. They keep boosting this video. This is the Class Xeron saddle track with, it's going to be a cultivator with Slurry. And then they got a giant tanker that you can use to transport that or use it. Looks like you can use that also as a cultivator. That's huge. And you can see them applying Slurry to the tank. So that's a pretty neat device. Will you use it? If you're on a European farm, probably you really never see those in the United States. But we do see class equipment. We have a local farm that uses a bunch of Fendt tractors, and I just saw them chop harvesting last week with a Kloss Jaguar. I'm not sure why this is such a big deal, but they're real excited about bringing this in. I guess maybe this is their biggest harvester. We have a Tryon 750. There's a real one. Which one's real? Which one's not? Can you tell? It actually looks really good. This is the Farm Sim 19 one, and it looks freaking good. Here's a picture of it in the game again. I'm not sure why there's so much hoopla about this, but I guess maybe it's just their brand new harvester, so they're trying to make a big deal. But pretty cool stuff. Now, my wife and I watch these very informative videos. I would suggest checking this page out. I'm not going to go through all this, but it's just showing there, we have the cows have new buildings. They will come over to feed when you feed them. That's really cool. Whoops, wrong button. And then there's 2 videos that go with this. They're really long. I'll let you guys go through those if you want. I mean, you probably, if you're into Farm Sim, you probably already watched them on FarmCon. They showed some harvesting footage. So that's the reveal. But now we need to talk about production chains. So let's take a look at that. So once again, just like the Seasons people are now out of a job, it looks like the guys that make Global Company are now also out of a job. I'll let you decide how you feel about that. But let's take a look. So here we have, they're just showing the grain mill as an example. You can bring in, it looks like your recipe. You bring in wheat, barley, oat, or sorghum. And your outgoing product is going to be flour. It takes per every minute you get 150 of these liters, I believe. And it costs you $1 per minute. So you actually have to pay to have this stuff processed. But that's, that is how it goes. Now you're going to make cake. So you're going to have to go to, let's see, at the production plant, you can also store ingredients. If you want to make something that requires several ingredients, you can start production as soon as you got all of them delivered. So if you want to make some delicious cakes, you'll need a whole set of ingredients: flours, eggs, sugar, milk, butter, and strawberries. This rather complex production chain requires you to deliver a lot of ingredients which need to be harvested or even produced themselves, like butter. You need to produce at the dairy plant by delivering fresh milk. So you'll take milk, you'll have to make butter. Maybe just start with bread instead to get the hang of it. That's what they're saying. But you got a pretty big production chain. So that's really neat. So we're going to have a lot of cool, and this is showing you, it's $5 per minute. And you get 5 cycles per minute, which means you get probably 5 cakes per minute. And this shows you all the incoming materials that are needed and the outgoing. Now, I wonder if you can buy stuff. Like, remember how in Global Company, you could actually buy product in if you didn't have it. So let me find out. Let me see if I can find out the information real quick. Haven't found an answer yet. Been looking around a bit. If you know the answer, go ahead and put it in the comments. But I'm not sure if you can buy in. Once again, in Global Company, let's say I had a factory producing cake and I needed sugar and I had everything but sugar grown. I could buy in sugar. I could just buy it and then put it into the mix. So I don't know if we'll be allowed to do that or if you're going to actually have to grow every single thing. That's going to be kind of a pain. But anyway, it'd be worth it. But then after production's over, you can choose that to just sell it directly from the plant, like and you know, not distribute it, or you can use a truck yourself and distribute it to the grocery store and sell it. That's pretty neat stuff. You can also build multiple of the same factory. So let's say you have one factory making flour and another one making, you know, oatmeal or whatever. It's not, I'm just making that up, but you could build two factories so that you're not having to wait for the one factory to finish producing the grain if you wanted to go both at the same time. So you can, you know, step up your production by increasing the amount of production facilities that you have. Really, really cool stuff. I think this and the new map are going to be the things that keep me coming back to Farm Sim. Hopefully I'll be able to get a couple friends that have played with me in the past to work on a map with me when it first comes out, and we'll try to get all this stuff up and working, figure out how it works, and then make tutorials on how to do that. Once again, though, I hope that you're allowed to buy stuff in. It doesn't show that yet, but once again, they're not done yet, so we may be able to buy stuff in, but it does cost money, so you're going to have to be careful as you're producing this stuff. It probably will be worth it, though. They usually make it so that you make a decent amount of money. So anyway, so that's the production chains. Let me look real quick here and make sure we covered everything. We did. We covered new machines, the new brands, I don't know, sound enhancements, gear selection. That's all we know so far. They haven't really, they've showed it a little bit in some of the demo videos, so once again, I would watch a little bit of that, but I don't want to have too much like content that doesn't belong to me in the video. That's them doing their thing. So, but anyway, stuff looks great. This is super exciting. I cannot wait for Farm Sim 22. Like, this is going to be really awesome, guys, and it's coming soon. So keep an eye out on my channel. Once again, if I find out anything new that's incredible, I will definitely be posting it here. But I think that pretty much covers a lot of the new stuff that's happening, and we got a good look at the maps, and we got to see the production chains, the seasons. Those, I think, are the big things, the new crops. And so that's exciting. When we come out with an equipment list, you know, I'll kind of go over that too, and we'll see what equipment's in the game. And then, you know, as we get into November, we'll start making tutorials, and definitely before the 22nd, I'm hoping like the 16th or something like that, we'll get a copy, and I'll be able to share that with you, and you guys will be able to see footage before the game is released. And I'll actually play it, and you'll actually be able to see and feel. And if you come on the Twitch stream, you'll be able to ask questions, and I'll be glad to answer as much as I can. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys on Twitch and also on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help, and we'll see you next time for Farm Sim 22. Good night.